With the Bears landing Shane Waldron as their offensive coordinator, which I think is a fantastic move, by the way, along with bringing in quarterback coach Kerry Joseph. And in my opinion, that means that the Bears are going to lean to keeping Justin Fields as quarterback one. Considering the work that Waldron and Joseph did with quarterback Geno Smith and making him a legitimate starting NFL quarterback. And with that, I think Ryan Poles will be shopping the #1 overall pick for an absolute haul to address more key areas through the draft. And from last year's #1 pick trade with the Panthers, which we swapped last year's first, which ended up being done all right, getting a second from the Panthers, which ended up being Tyreek Stevenson, veteran wide receiver DJ Moore, who had a Pro Bowl type season, and then along with it, this year's #1 overall pick and next year's second rounder. That was a huge haul for the Bears and has already addressed a ton of key areas of need. So Bears got 3 years worth of picks, a few starters, and again, a top pick this past year. And if I am Ryan Poles, I am aiming for a team that needs a quarterback right now or is looking to go into a rebuild, along with staying in the top 10 again this year. And the team I'm talking about today is the Tennessee Titans, who currently sit at #7 at the moment. They're currently getting a new coaching staff. They might want to clean house, they might want to rebuild, or they just want that next quarterback of the future for them, as they aren't too far off. They were 6-11 this past year, but I would be taking a call from Nashville if I'm Chicago. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to this episode of Just Another Year Chicago. My name is Nick Brody, and as always, thank you for tuning in. Today, I am going to be running through a trade back situation with the Tennessee Titans to help solidify this team moving forward. And before I begin, if you want the Bears to trade back the #1 pick for an absolute haul this upcoming offseason, make sure to hit the like button on this video to show your support and help more Bears fans see it, along with commenting who you want the Bears to trade back with and your thoughts on this trade back situation. And as always, please hit that subscribe button to stay up to date on all Chicago Bears news. So the Titans currently have the second most cap space this upcoming offseason with about $73.9 million. They are coming off a 6-11 season, finishing last in their division, but the team is in a good spot to rebuild quickly. With quarterback Ryan Tannehill hitting free agency and also them not really truly knowing what Will Levis's true potential could be for the future, they could go out into this draft and look for the best quarterback possible to plug and play into their team to maybe be a contender next year. So if I am Ryan Poles and the Tennessee Titans are calling, I'd be willing to send Tennessee the #1 pick, but I would have to receive Tennessee's #7, #38, defensive tackle Jeffery Simmons, a 2025 first, a 2025 third, and a 2026 second. Before I get more into Simmons and why I want him along with the overall trade as a whole, let me break down a little bit more as to why I'm asking this much. No #1 overall pick has ever been worth this much before. Multiple generational type players in this upcoming draft at various different positions. Any team could snag someone that could impact their franchise for the next decade to come and could be huge for them for moving forward. Along with that, you have so many teams that are going to be calling Chicago for that #1 overall pick. Teams are going to have to give an absolute haul, and the farther you are away from the #1, the more you're going to have to give up. And at that #1 overall pick, if you take a guy like Caleb Williams, you have a guy that's going to be an instant impact on your franchise from a fan base perspective. You're going to sell millions of dollars worth of jerseys. You're going to sell season tickets. You're going to get people to want to come and play for your team. Coaches are going to want to come there. People are going to want to build around that guy, and overall just a big future impact. Even though it cost you a lot, it could be good in the future long run. And again, look what we got last year with Carolina for a non-generational type player, in my opinion. You know, Bears got a player that was under 26 years old. They also got a key position addressed with DJ Moore, which they're doing with this trade with Jeffery Simmons. Overall, it's very similar, not too much different, and it's very possible, especially with Simmons' contract. So let's go into Jeffery Simmons, one of the league's best young defensive tackles at 6'4", 305 pounds, and only 26 years old. This past year, in only 12 games for the Titans, he ended up going on season-ending IR with a knee sprain injury. Titans, for him last year, he had 44 total tackles, 10 tackles for loss, 11 quarterback hits, 5.5 sacks, 1 pass deflection, 1 forced fumble, and 1 fumble recovery. Again, in only 12 games, missing 5 games in the season. A big, strong defensive tackle that doesn't back down. He was the 19th overall pick in 2019 out of Mississippi State, and he's performing very well in the NFL and is a very reliable player. He helps address that need at defensive tackle for the Chicago Bears and is on a long-term contract. He is getting paid Montez Sweat money because he currently is on a 4-year, $94 million contract. But if you're addressing that position with a guy that's going to be on this team for the next 3 years under contract, good young player, works in this defensive scheme, could be huge for the Chicago Bears and also lets us focus on other key areas of need in the upcoming draft. I think this is a sleeper trade. A lot of people aren't talking about the Titans as being a destination for the #1 pick at the moment, but if you go out and get Caleb Williams with a offense that the Tennessee Titans have, they get a healthier coaching staff and they keep most of this team, they could go out and be a very scary team. Again, they have the most cap, and that's before roster cuts. They could have $100 million in cap and go out and get some pretty stellar players in free agency, especially in this class, and be a contender next year. This also helps the Chicago Bears. We get more mid-round picks. We're able to get more picks next year, and overall, just a great long-term future move. Put your thoughts in the comment section below, but with that, thank you as always for tuning in to this episode of Just Another Year Chicago. My name is Nick Brody, and as always, bear down, baby.